And now we have audio. Okay, alright. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Hopefully the audio is good enough for me. Alrighty, let's try an actual project. I think I should just be able to shut Mesh Mixer. And go to my actual project. And now we have audio. Okay. Uh-oh. Testing, testing. Ah! 2, 3. Hopefully the audio is good enough for me. Alrighty, let's try an actual project. I think I should just be able to shut Mesh Mixer. And go to my actual project. And now we have audio. Okay. Uh-oh. Testing, testing. Ah! 2, 3. How much delay do we have? That would be me unplugging the cord. Alright. Okay, so the sound is currently coming out through there. How do I change you, Mr. Sound? That's better. Okay, now it's coming through the headphones. And there's a lot of delay. Okay, well that's a good start. Mute Mr. YouTube now. Alright, well that's cool. I'm happy with that. What do you guys think? If there's anyone there, let me know. But I'm pretty happy with the fact that I've been able to set this up. Thanks to my friend Kev, who came over and sorted my computer out for me. G'day, Emma. Now, part of that chat is chopped off. What's going on there? Why is part of the chat chopped? There, that's better. Okay, cool. Alright. Well, that's working. Everything's working. Now, let's just see. I want to open... None of those. Current jobs. Alrighty. Yeah, I should be able to just get back over here now. If I'm looking that way, is my head in it? Yes, it is. Excellent. So obviously, for anyone that's trying to get my keyboard shortcuts and whatnot, you're not going to get everything because the model's going to be in the way some of the time. But I'm sure we can live with that. On the whole, I'm pretty damn stokeroonied that we've gotten this far. How's the audio, Emma? Is the audio good? Nice and clear? Credit where credit's due. This was modelled by Kirby Downey, but I'm going to be changing some stuff up. What I'm going to do there, I'm going to do a plain cut on the bottom. So I have modified this to stick everything together and make it so that it's going to print in one piece on the resin printer. I'm going to do a plain cut. Chop off just a little smidgen of the bottom there. And then I'm going to expose that bottom surface. Ah, that's weird. Because it's chosen green, it's actually kind of invisible for you guys, which is funny. That's okay. It'll become visible once it's orange. So I've selected that. And now I'm going to press T for transform. And scroll that down to give it a bit more meat. And try and figure out how I'm going to make this into a keyring. Yeah. While that bit's still selected, I'll then transform it down. And maybe make it narrower and skinnier. Yeah. And then I'll probably shift select. And that, select all those bits and go Control F. Actually, yeah, we'll see what happens. Now that Control F should smooth it, but it may also make Mesh crash. So just on the off chance of that happening. No, it hasn't. We'll see what this does. It may not smooth it very nicely. We may have to take another approach. So you can't see my mouse there, but I'm holding Control and rolling the mouse wheel out to increase that selection area. You can sort of see it growing ever so slowly. You can also click one of these buttons to do it a bit faster. Oh, wrong one. Yeah, it's the well, depending on my mouse is left-handed, so I was going to say it's the left button, but for you it's probably the right button. I'm really wanting to just smooth this end over. I'll try a few different ways to do this. This might not be the best way. No. What else can we do instead? Let's undo all that. I'm not liking the way that's come out. Good old undo button. Try that again with just stretching it down. We've got to somehow attach a keyring to this, and I don't want it to look weird. Let's just try stretching it down and going uniformly in instead. instead of trying to flatten it off. Hopefully that gives us a nice... No, I did not like that. Trying to do a replace business thingamajig there, but that didn't work. I want to make that a nice ball on the end. There's an easy way to do it, but it's just not necessarily a great way to do it, and that is to drop a sphere on it. Just try and line that up as best we can by eyeball. And whilst we can get it pretty good by eye, it would be nice to be able to align it, but it doesn't. It's not likely that any of the auto align functions are going to work very well. Okay, that's pretty good. Can't say I'm too unhappy with that. Now the question is that going to do a nice join? We'll try Boolean union and see what happens. Sometimes these don't like them. And it could also be something to do with the triangles. I didn't even look. I should have looked, but luckily that's worked. I'm just going to try accepting. Usually I avoid using the auto reduce results, but sometimes it works fine, and I guess a smaller model is a good model. Less triangles is good triangles. Hey Teresa! What do you think about my setup? Pretty flash, eh? Yeah, that's not looking all that great though either. It's looking a bit... I mean, it's going to have a keyring hanging through that. I just don't know. I don't know. Can anyone else think of a good way to attach a keyring to this shape? Any suggestions? It's going to be about... Where's my hand? It's going to be about that tall. Maybe I'll do this but just shorten that a little bit. See if it's going to let me do that. Probably should have done those. No, that was bad. Cancel that. It's a bit weird. That should have only selected the pink bit and that bit. Regular transform, we'll try that. No, it's not liking that either. Let's go back a few steps to when I was about to join that ball on. Boolean. Seems to be working. Okay, so yeah, that's good. This is good. I'm using OBS Studio. Oh, look, that didn't work. Cancel that. Try that instead. Usually if this goes quickly, it's a good sign, and if it goes slowly, it's a bad sign, in my experience. Accept that. So what that's doing is it's any internal geometry it's deleting, and it's just stitching it up all around the edges. So now that's just one nice piece of stuff. I'm going to remesh that bit so that it becomes a bit smoother and a bit more, makes the triangles more the same, for want of a better word. So you might have seen the difference in all those triangles there. Hopefully this isn't going to take forever. Now, does OBS give me a viewer count, or do I have to go in and look at that? No, it does not seem to give me a viewer count. I've got the chat, but no viewer count. This is currently on linear subdivision. I'm going to change it to one of the others. And hopefully it should just make the triangles all be kind of the same-ish. It's going to recalculate all the triangles required to make the geometry. Oops. Now this camera is not focusing very well. How do I change settings on you, Mr. Webcam, while we're here? Waiting for that. Oh, there we go. See, that's what it's done. It's made all those triangles all nice. So it's Control F. Oh, geez, I'm going to have to do something about my fingernails. Ew. Ew. That doesn't seem to want to autofocus, that one. Probably a good thing. So we're just going to stop viewing the colors for a minute. Those aren't actually colors, they're face groups, which are just identified by colors. Should be able to give us a nice hole. Hopefully this works. I probably should have either cheated and done a make solid on this stick, or remeshed it to give it more triangles, because it's probably going to actually screw the inside of this up. You'll see what I mean when it happens. Nobody's watching. Nobody's watching me. Unless I'm just missing the viewer count and it's skyrocketing. Come on, refine, 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 refine. Yeah, so I've painted my desk green. I'm thinking about putting a backdrop behind me that's, you know, one colour, so that I can delete it as well if I want to and have me floating on things. But yeah, not disliking this all too much at all. That's my headphones cord. We'll have to deal with that. Lots of little things to deal with, but on the whole I'm pretty happy with that. Oh shit, it's stuck. Paint's not really fully dry yet. Oh, that's interesting. Oops. The word refining is on my screen, but you guys can't see it. There's a little box that says refining, so just in case you're wondering what's going on, Meshmix is just having a good old thinkamajinky. I'm probably going to have to cancel that because I get a feeling it's not going to work. Should not be taking that long to do such a simple operation. While it's cancelling, I'm going to grab a tea or coffee. Yeah, as I suspected, that red is an indicator that it didn't work, partly because I cancelled it, but I'm just going to go cancel there, and I'll show you why. Okay, see the drastic difference between the triangles there? That is most likely the reason it didn't work. Basic things has ran out of things to stick to, so I'm going to cheat. I'm going to go edit, make solid. And making solid is going to shrink wrap around this column, which is going to be accurate enough for me. The other way you could do it would be to remesh it using linear subdivision, and it would break these triangles down into smaller ones. But you have to repeat that. Whoops. Sorry. I'll start that again. So the reason that didn't work is because the triangles are so different to each other. And the proper thing to do here would be to do a remesh and use linear subdivision and bring it down and down and down multiple times. But what I'm going to do is go make solid, and that's just going to shrink wrap it. Now, it's a pretty ugly job that it's done on fast, but it is actually good enough for the bush. This is a hole that's about 1 millimeter in diameter, or 2 millimeters, or something crazy small like that. Anyway, it's not 1 millimeter. It's a keyring, the thickness of a keyring, hopefully. So I'm just going to accept that. That's good enough. I could have refined that further. This stick is okay, this whole thing hasn't been scaled yet, so just ignore the sizing and stuff because it's not it's not scaled. This whole thing is massive compared to what it will be printed at. Boolean difference. This should work this time. It should be nice and quick. If things are working, the progress bar. You guys can't see the progress bar, but yeah, there we go, done. Now I will uncheck the auto reduce result box because otherwise this might just turn ugly on the inside here. It seems to be the insides of holes that cop it the worst with auto reduce results. So I've just accepted that. Seems like some of the menus are not visible as well for you guys. Some of the little pop-up menus in Mesh Mixer seem not to be showing up, which I'm going to have to tackle that because I want you guys to be able to see them. So like for example, if I went to, yeah. Oh, yeah, you can see that one. Yeah, you can't see the loading box, but that's fine. Oh, you can see this junk up here. Okay, good. Excellent. Alrighty. Well, the next thing I was thinking about maybe doing is actually on the bottom of this sphere. I was thinking about just putting a little column in here to support that so that I don't have to do that in the slicer. I don't know. It's probably just as good to do it in the slicer. I'll do it in the slicer. Alrighty, good enough, I reckon. One more thing, actually. Let's go back to the view, the different stuff. Let's put the normal grey shader back on it. I'm going to select the inside of that hole and roll my selection out. And go Control F. And just give the inside edges of that hole a bit of a smooth. There we go. I can't say I'm too unhappy with that. Okay, so what are we looking at? They're calling this the Y. Now I always get confused with this. I probably need to change some settings somewhere in there. But so I'm going to just make sure that I undo that, and then I can go into the Y-axis, make sure uniform scaling is enabled, and change that to the size I want it, which is probably 45 millimeters. I'll export that out. I'm not going to save the changes to that though. I'm just going to call this 45mm keyring. And Let's minimize that down. Now, I'm going to open To-Do Box and just see how it behaves. Hopefully To-Do Box will be good. Okay. To-Do is not going to let me have... What the? Sorry. It's not going to let me have my overlays like I had before. So you guys will just have to live with that. It's also going to be weird and not... Yeah, it was doing this before. It does not like me. It won't be full screen and move smoothly. So I'm just going to have to do my best for now. That'll have to do. So we can go now into import. Now, personally, I like to put my models right up in the air when I'm preparing my support. Then I lower it back down again afterwards. The reason is because sometimes you get this problem where things just do weird things, for want of a better word. And Just making sure that central column is nice and stable. That should do it. So there's that, but then there's also the sphere. The bottom of this sphere needs probably a little bit more support than what that central one's going to give it. So I'll go in again, double click that one. And I'm just going to put a little series of those along there. And I'll do that again from anywhere else that I can. Now obviously these supports aren't supporting this bottom part, I'm going to get to that later. At the moment, all we're hoping to do just make sure that we don't cause any collisions with the main model. So yeah, this little support strut here and this one is just to support the support. It's not really intending to support the model. The support just needs to be nice and rigid when it's trying to do its job up here, so we don't want it wobbling around. I was wanting to line these up with the other ones, but I'm just going to have to just guess them because I can't see that. Okay, no contact with anything we don't want it to. Move that to the flat side of that face so that it's not going to be difficult to clean up. Move that one down a little bit to the flat as well. Double click that guy. Alrighty, that looks like pretty good support underneath that ball to me. I don't think those supports are touching anything they shouldn't be, but I'll just do a double check. Just looking around to make sure that they're not. Okay, so now we can look at supporting the bottom parts. I don't think anything else up the top needed any. Pretty confident that it didn't. That all worked before, so it should all work again. So now we're just going to get underneath this guy and support the bottom part. So I'm just going to drop down to these mediums, which my supports are a bit funny. Mediums are actually just as fat as solids almost, as the heavies actually, not solids. Now I'm actually just going to pop out and save this. So at this point it's probably going to crash. Okay, well that's a bit weird, but it'll do. Whoop. Did not intend to make that into a three-way triangle then. I meant to make that crisscross, but it's probably going to be fine. Yeah, look at that. I'll add a couple of extras. I might even delete that whole thing and start again. That's a bit better. Now I'm not going to trust that entirely. I'm also just going to add a couple more. For stability. That should be in 4. Yep, that looks good. Not to pass up an opportunity to add some support, I'm just going to pop in those guys there. So looking at that, that's I'm pretty confident that's going to print up very nicely up to that point. And I reckon it would not hurt to add a bit of support there and there and there and there and there and there. And now I'm just going to edit those and just make sure that they're sort of just nicely crashed into the... Actually, I might just make them intersect through it like that. That's probably really good. That one's probably a bit far away. Why is that? Maybe the outer one's too far away. I'm just going to do it anyway. No, I'll do that. And I'll add another one to that. No, come on, there we go. I'll do the same with that one, I think. Looks pretty good to me. And just for good measure, I'll bang a couple of lights on. So these light ones are actually a bit skinnier. And they'll barely make a mark. Save it again. And now what I'll do is I'll come back into here. And I'm going to drop that back down to 5mm. Probably could get away with a bit less, but then you've got to actually trick it and go back again, and that'll give you a raft. Now for some reason that raft is not big enough to get all my supports in, which is a bit of a pain. Normally they do all fit, so that's only somewhat of a problem. Probably doesn't actually hurt to bring that in a bit closer anyway. As long as it's not colliding. No collisions. We can probably delete that one. It is nice for them all to be connected, because if any of these get left behind, it can be rather messy. Alrighty, that's looking pretty damn awesome. Let's save that again. So like I said, these supports here aren't about supporting the model, they're actually about supporting this area here, so this isn't up here wobbling around while these are trying to join onto the ball. It's bad enough that those are kind of going to that extreme as it is. In fact, sometimes you'd even add a support to a support. That'll do. Just gotta grab the phone. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. Just had someone come to the door to get a click and collect. Alrighty, so did I hit slice? I should have hit slice. And okay, so I've got this set with the 1.5 second exposure times, which is not going to work for the resin that I'm using. So I'm going to go back. So settings. Actually, you know what? I might try. No, I'll do one in the black for now. The final one I'll do in the clear, but I just want to actually test with what's in the vat at the moment. So I'm going to slice for that. So we'll go to 3 second exposures, and I'll just grab my memory card. 1 sec. What happened to making coffee before? Save to... that one. Alrighty, there's the keyring. I think it did something weird just then. I think I might have saved the project while it was trying to write to the card. So I might just, for the sake of just making absolutely sure that nothing can go wrong, I'm just going to slice that one more time and save it one more time. I have had funny stuff happen in the past. Rewrite that. Seems to take quite a while to save things. It's got to save it and then it's got to convert it for some reason. Okay, that's done. Now the other thing I want to do is start a new project without saving, you bastard. No, I do not want to save. I've already got that saved. Crap. Open file. Come on, computer. Why are you in such struggle city? How long does it take to import a square? I reckon I probably made that too thick. The reason I'm doing this is going to be my bed cleaning file, basically. No, I've already got the bed cleaner file here. Same thing as that, basically. I'll just copy that one. That's all I needed. So basically, you've just sliced a square to the printer. Sent a square to the printer, rather. And I'm going to go and stick it on the printer. So let me check that that worked. Now the reason I'm doing that is because if you've got any junk on your FEP sheet that is really like sludgy, minuscule stuff, it doesn't hurt to give it a clean. I would not recommend using this process for removing any actual solid pieces, but it's good if you've got a little bit of sludge. Just to make sure that there's no remnants. If you would otherwise think that there's nothing in the vat, then use this. Do not use this if you think there is something in your vat. I repeat, this is an extra safety precaution, not something to do instead of being cautious. Alrighty, that's that. I'm going to end the stream, guys, because I'm ready to stick that on the printer, and I've got nothing else to do for now that is worth sharing. So, move my keyboard out of the way so it doesn't stick to my table. How does that look for... Yeah, I reckon that looks cool. I don't care what people think if they don't think that that's cool. I think that's cool. That my hands are here and there at the same time. High five. It's just too weird. Put that in the middle. Alright, camera's in the center, hands there. Hands there. No, I think I need to move it across more. High five! Oh, wrong way. I've got to move that way. Ah. 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 No, it doesn't work. Hello? I need to like reverse it so that it's... Oh dear. Hang on. Yeah, because they're backwards for hands, aren't they? If I had my hands up to you guys like that, and I do that, they're backwards. Ha ha ha! Show you on that camera, show you on that camera, show you on that camera, show you on that camera. Hello! Hello! High five, Sam. Psh. High five, other Sam. Psh. Psh. Oh dear, that's just too much fun. Righto guys, I had fun with that. I hope you guys did too.